It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. How do you even begin an episode that you know will be the end? How do you start the last episode of a show that should have honestly ended years ago, but was only kept on life support by a handful of diehard fans whose only escape from the soul-crushing reality of day-to-day life was escapism through viewing the only show about gaming news that didn't suffocate itself by smelling its own asshole? At this point, it doesn't really matter. We only have to leave you the same way we met you, by playing out cautionary tale after cautionary tale that should, in theory, make you weary and dismissive of anything game developers and producers say or do. So fuck it. Here's one for the road. The gaming industry is a gigantic pile of marketing bullshit that only exists to make money off of eager young cunts like you and has absolutely nothing to do with art and never has. Fuck you, fuck us, fuck everything. This is the last episode of the Totally Uninformed Gaming Show.
Here we go!
Wow, what a cool song. Definitely gonna miss it. Now you're probably saying to yourselves, wow, that's mean, you guys. I'm a gamer and I love video games. What the hell did games ever do to you? Well, guess what, dipshit? Listen up. E3 just happened, which is a perfect example of the lies and manipulation that you've been gaslit into believing for years. Do you honestly think Anthem is gonna be a good game? Do you honestly think Crackdown 3 is gonna be anything more than a playable beta quality game created entirely to trick dumbasses like you into signing up for Xbox's all access bullshit? Do you even give a shit that there are as many pirate ship video games coming out as there are racing simulators?
No!
No!
And you shouldn't either. Hell, we haven't even mentioned Call of Duty or Battlefield yet, because why would we? We've honestly come so far paddling upstream through a river of shit that every new release from Call of Duty or Battlefield has about the same shocking effect as waking up in February, stepping outside and realizing it's 80 goddamn degrees out. The fact that even the most trusted studios, right down to indie devs, are fucking up these days makes shit like the yearly FPS T.U.G.S fest seem tame by comparison. So let's burn some bridges, goddammit, because this channel's going to get deleted faster than your search history on grandma's computer.
Fire up that boring company. Oh wait, hold on now. Excuse me, sir, but I wholeheartedly disagree.
Yeah.
Gaming is the best it's ever been. Not only does competition between developers and publishers create a race to release the best quality product they possibly can because the free market will dictate success, but we also have access to a back catalog of games spanning decades.
Yeah, and furthermore, large companies are finally getting more and more access to intellectual property that would have been impossible to acquire even a decade ago, which gives us the ability to play games like
what, Battlefront? Just because a company can use good intellectual property doesn't mean they're not gonna completely fuck it up in ways that go so far as to sow distrust in the movies that they're based on themselves.
Yeah, literally Battlefront was so bad that Disney looked at who was playing and complaining, saw that it was a bunch of insecure dudes between the ages of 15 and 30, then decided to write the plots for their movies based on the knowledge that dudes are morons, and if women didn't step up to the plate, the whole universe would implode on itself. Say what you want about girls only playing Candy Crush or whatever, but at least they don't throw a fit about microtransactions while at the same time buying the microtransactions that they're complaining about.
Whoa there, buddy, slow down. We're obviously talking about the new Spider-Man game from Sony, which is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
If it weren't for big studio partnerships, we'd never get anything as amazing as Spider-Man the game.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that the only people who have played it are either games journalists who are impressed by game demos just like cats are impressed by dangling string in front of their faces, or fans who are so in love with video games that they would wait in line for hours just to play a demo and would never admit that a game that they waited half a day to play was just okay. Well, we can guarantee that this game is gonna be great. Just look at all the awards it won at E3.
Yeah, okay, sure. Every single live stream or tweet reaction that you saw, it was positive, and that's because half of those people tweeting about it were paid to be there, and most certainly they've got branded campaigns coming up later this year to promote the game to their fan base in exchange for some Skrilla. The other half of those people had erect dicks and clits after sitting through hours of foreplay in line to either see the game in action or get their hands on it. Do you really think someone who waited over 2 hours in line to play a game is gonna say it was terrible? No. That would make them look like a fucking moron who wasted 2 hours of their life waiting in line to touch a video game that it's gonna be out for everyone in just a handful of weeks.
Besides, the whole point we're trying to make in this final episode is that caring too much about video games is basically insanity, because you're just gonna get the same thing over and over and over again. If you actually looked at literally every single written and thought out reaction to Spider-Man from E3, you'll see that while I'm sure it does bring a lot of new stuff to the table, nearly every goddamn journalist out there who played it said it's just like the Batman Arkham series. Now this wouldn't be that big of a deal, but pointing this out does two things. It shows that this title is just another game that you'll play for a bit then forget about after wading knee-deep through hype bullshit for months, or that games journalists are just uncreative fucks who can only compare one superhero game to another. It's probably both.
But
No buts. you shut the fuck up. This is our show and it's actually canceled this time. So you're gonna get out and let us talk. Every game that's coming out is gonna give you basically the same experience that you've had year after year, title after title. You hype yourself up for a game simply because you can't play it yet. It comes out, you finally play through it, only to realize there was nothing really special about it in the first place. Look back through the history of E3 and find titles that actually lived up to their unattainable standards and made an impact on your gaming life in a huge way. There are certainly some.
Sure.
But we guarantee that you can look at titles that you were frothing down at the gash for that you don't even give a shit about right now.
We called you out for it. It's true. Then, a goddamn extra mode comes out for free, basically unhyped and essentially unannounced for a game that nobody was playing and actually changes the world and people's lives along with it. The Fortnite phenomenon, I'm sorry, is fucking bonkers. There was not hype building for this. There was no need to play this before it dropped, and it's the biggest goddamn game on the planet. These are ones that stick out through history, the ones that slipped by and became something based off their own zeitgeisty qualities. Fortnite, Minecraft, and to a lesser extent, World of Warcraft. WoW didn't start out as the biggest game on Earth. It grew after release by word of mouth until it became nearly untouchable for a while, and it's actually been consistently popular for over a decade. But like, look at Minecraft. There was no hype for that. No. People just started playing it, and then children found out. Same with Fortnite.
Yeah. The outliers that we can think of that are justifiably hyped, or at least they were for a while, were like the FPS series games like Call of Duty, Battlefield, and Halo. But that wasn't because you were about to open some mystery box of perceived perfection. It was because you already knew what the hell you were getting. You just wanted to play the latest and greatest version of something that you already liked with maybe a few different abilities or fixes here and there. If you look back on the evolution of COD specifically, most of those titles could have been simply like just patch updates or downloadable expansions in today's gaming landscapes, but hey, at least they lived up to the hype because you already knew what you were getting.
Yeah, gaming will never change. It will never change because it doesn't need to. People actually love doing the same shit over and over and over again, so why the hell would companies ever want to give you something different? You probably wouldn't buy it. It's the same reason why sequels and reboots are box office gold, while amazing original movies only screen at a handful of theaters and make a small percentage of what some dumb comedy or huge action film does. Anthem is a new IP, sure. But it just looks like Mass Effect skinned with Titanfall and coupled with Destiny-style elements. Not scary for anyone looking to pick up a game. If they made it too different, you wouldn't buy it because you'd get frustrated with trying to do something new and, you might even not understand how to play it. Well, not you, the TUGS viewers. You guys are smart. We're obviously talking about the general population here. You know the difference. Anyways.
Yeah, we could also just go off on microtransactions here, but guys, we've been down that road before, so why bother? You know what we think and how we feel about them. Negatively.
Yeah.
Something we will finish bitching about on here before we shift over to Shibby for 10 long minutes of pure drunken nonsense, though, is price points. Recently, gamers have had the luxury of not being forced to pay $60 or more for video games, even though they, a lot of the times, are actually getting more playtime out of them. Free-to-play games are dominating, and smaller titles that patch themselves into being full-fledged games later start out at an affordable rate and either never go up in price or sometimes even drop. Then you have all these services like EA Access, Xbox Access, PlayStation Now, and so on, where you can just be a member and play whatever the hell you want for a monthly fee. So who in their right mind is gonna pay $60 for a new game? It just seems so archaic.
Yeah, not in this economy.
Nah.
No thanks. And yeah, by the way, we're looking at you, Nintendo. I know, we were wrong about the Switch, but you know what? Fuck you for charging $60 for a Mario tennis game. That shit is ridiculous, especially when you know the majority of people are just downloading the digital copy of the game. So Nintendo, they're not spending nearly as much to produce and ship a bunch of physical items to stores around the world. $60? That's insane now. Well, another example here, The Crew 2. It's $60. For what? Some slight upgrades or different modes? There's a billion other racing games just as good for a third of the price. Or just buy the first Crew for dirt cheap.
Oh, and that's another thing that Crew 2 makes a good example of. What the hell happened to Tuesday releases? Video games used to be released on a Tuesday, and when companies started shifting that date around, it's like, okay, whatever, fine. The date's arbitrary anyway, just release the game when you say you're going to.
Yeah.
Now a lot of the AAA games are released on Friday, which I guess makes sense because you can play it all weekend without worrying about school or work, but then also these companies have the audacity to allow you the privilege of playing the game early by spending more money for a different edition. How early can you play it most of the time? 3 days early. How many days early is 3 from Friday? Oh, that's Tuesday. It's fucking Tuesday. You're paying an extra $20 to $30 to play the game on the day that it should have come out on the first place.
What? All right, fuck this. We need to calm down. Let's have Shibby take over for a while. Holy fuck.
Tugs boys and Tugs girls, this week, unfortunately, I'm reviewing not an overhyped video game, buggy update, or lackluster expansion. This won't be a review that is marble-mouthed and rushed under 60 seconds of time, leading to a pounding by Hundar. If you want that kind of treatment, that costs extra. Cow chop changes people. Woo. This show has evolved from where I literally need to sit on a stool because I'm so damn tall, 6'5", to now standing fully erect because the G Fuel pulsing through my veins.
That's actually liquor in that cup, and there's no reason for it because it's in a mug. No one can tell there's liquor in there, but it's there.
I'm not trying to be cool.
Okay.
Much like my love for that product, it started as a meme, but now I actually really enjoy it. I used to dread filming this show back when, much like Hillary checking her email inbox, I had no prompt or practice to read the nonsense I wrote. I was nervous, and I was thrown onto the spot without being able to edit around errors and try again. Just whatever I said would go. It was like being initiated into a fraternity, but with more clothes on. This show has evolved. Yes, viewer, like the Evolve video game, which will be shut down in September 2. Rest in peace, Tugs. I remember when Evolve was made for E3 esports like Elliot's esports report on his hoverboard. Obviously the reason why ETC never hit 1 million subscribers. I digress. This week won't be a game, but a review on modern video gaming. Not playing Pet Your Kitty on Facebook or Slice Fruit via fingering myself on mobile. Are those games? Sure. Are those players considered gamers? No. Just like people who play RuneScape Classic. But Shibby. Woo! Everyone knows that if you've not beaten Cuphead, you're not a real gamer like Ricky, and he's Shibby criminal.
Yup, real gamer.
Whoa, viewer, rude, but of course, I agree. What we need to all agree on is just because a game looks good in a trailer does not mean you pre-order. This has been a cancer among our small, tight-knit community. As soon as a completely non-accurate representation of the trailer drops for an upcoming title, everyone creams themselves and tosses their wallets into the air singing the praises of whatever dead publisher is behind it. Literally a horse taking a shit on the road with a nice looking sunset in the distance. Boom, Red Dead 2 logo. Oh my God, pre-order Platinum Edition plus Season Pass plus feeding trough collectible for my Doritos. Yeah, no. These studios know how to market their product, and it's almost always not an accurate representation of the game. Even though the roots of my Shibby YouTube channel ties back to Battlefield 2142, trailers for that franchise in its entirety are never accurate to what actually happens round by round. The shit you'll actually end up playing for hours will never be the trailer. Will some dumbass pilot crash a fighter plane on the ground randomly next to you because they play Call of Duty and they're all shitters? Sure, but not to the level of the trailer. Look, viewer, Steam is not gonna run out of digital keys to sell you. That pre-order bonus for a better starter pistol, yeah, that'll last you about 10 minutes in the first mission. You don't need that shit. Wait until the full fucking game releases and see if it lives up to the hype. Most likely, ethical games journalists like us got a review code and know what's up. Well, I guess not us because publishers think we're too ethical. Also, we don't get keys because we won't bend the knee. Yeah, none of that shit. Single player games continue to get better over time as developers understand how to make an engaging story with actual game mechanics. How about that Witcher 3, Elliot? How was that?
Great.
Unless we're talking about a game like No Man's Sky, a single player game passed off as, well, listen here, bucko, this game is so universally big that you'll never find another human player, so GG good lucko. Yeah. Maybe not the best example as they're adding multiplayer almost 2 years later, but a relevant example. This guy goes on broadcast TV, numerous online interviews and articles selling a lie. Of course, you idiots out there lap it up like a thirsty dog and toss the $60 pre-order bones his way. Turns out this shit was taken inside the house like a bad dog and not in the yard. What have we learned here, class? Say it with me. Do noi pre-order. Yeah, good one. Very good, class. While on the topic of single player, I, for one, am more excited about more experiences at the AAA level like Assassin's Creed and Hitman, which continually get better so far. While on the flip side, the lower level indie titles which offer a cute multi-hour experience at a reasonable price point. The Steam Summer Sale, for example, is fantastic for these. Speaking of Steam, PC Master Race is still the king, while the lowly console plebs are in trouble. Sony doesn't want to play nice with Fortnite on Switch. Xbox Sony does not have any exclusives anymore as they transfer all purchases to the PC, like the latest Forza Horizon and Halo. Switch needs a new SKU, and totally suspect online service coming soon with laughable voice communication. Want to upgrade that console? Pay up for the 4K version, and you might be able to play your favorite game at 60 FPS. Oh, and fuck you, pay me for golden online access. What's up, Elliot? You good?
Keep going. Don't stop on my account.
Boy! Sure, God of War may be the best game of all time according to the fanboys out there, but all you'll see in the coming generations that these consoles essentially become computers. Why not join the superior gaming platform? It's inevitable. Like the simple gamer who only buys Madden and COD every year. What will happen as that person's friends want more options? More sales, more ways to play, more titles, more VR, AR options, more monitors, more overlays, an actual modding community, more frames per second, bigger resolutions. Oh, and the slick cream dream 144 hertz, or maybe even the god tier 244 hertz, 240 hertz experience. The list goes on. Viewer, as you age, you'll have more disposable income and want that gaming experience tailored for not a child, but a man, the personal computer. Buy now. Consoles for children, embrace the future, my child. I know my to-be daughter will.
Go to personalcomputer.com, use promo code SHIBBY to get your personal computer today.
Yeah. Not a joke.
Is there a real site?
I did.
Which personal computer should I get? The 1X?
Get an Alienware.
I'm just waiting until they release PC 2.
The premium version. Jesus Christ. All right, let me continue here.
Yeah.
All right. The last plague that we must overcome is loot boxes. Other than completely busted Korean MMOs that are literally pay to win, loot boxes are something we must continue to rally against. Essentially, these developers and publishers want their games as a service. That is the hot thing for the future, games as a service. No longer is the $60 purchase enough because games are expensive to develop. I call bullshit because these teams are seasoned on how do they make their annual games. They're already selling the silver, gold, or platinum version of the game with the $40 season pass on top of extra cosmetics or in-game currency you can buy. Oh, and the extra boosts or loot boxes or for XP or whatever. Yeah, I did that buying Monster Energy drinks for Battlefield 1. I need to atone for my sins.
And you bought those cups from Taco Bell for Overwatch.
That's true.
Yeah, you're just as bad as everyone else.
Go up. Yeah. Loot boxes done poorly are either pay to win or glorified gambling, which to a kid with mom's credit card power does not know any better. It's a predatory practice and it's disgusting. I have no problem supporting in a game like Fortnite buying a cosmetic. I want it. I can buy it. Is it overpriced? Sure, but also I can earn in-game currency by playing it and just outright buy that glider I want or the pickaxe I want. No random RNG bullshit. Oh, and the game is free to play with actual game updates in the listener community, so there we go. At least we have something. Modern gaming has been on the rise. It's getting better, but as a community, we need to be vocal and call out bullshit. Example, Battlefront 2. Do I hate EA? No. Regardless, we need to call out bad mechanics like loot box systems with star cards, or something close. Even if you don't plan on playing Battlefront 2, I know I really never did, if that shit slipped by and all the gamers were cool with it, you best believe every other developer and publisher would be adding that garbage to your favorite franchise. Yeah, even Witcher 3. Or Star Citizen.
Oh!
Actually, no, CD Projekt Red would never do that. Vote with your wallet, and that starts by being an informed consumer and not pre-ordering video games. I want all you Shibby fans to be totally uninformed as possible and know that even if you're mouth deep on some booty, not swipe the credit card. It's better spent on the Internet Today Patreon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He drank that real fast. He's gonna be drunk the rest of the day.
Ugh. Streaming later. All in all, I am sad that TUGS is coming to an end, but it was inevitable. I'm surprised he even made this far without our bosses, sales team, or another studio saying something which gets us or the show shut down. I guess most viewers knew it was a joke, other than that Fallout 4 video which got 1 million views from random rage kids. Great. I won't be joining Ricky and Elliot per se on Inner Today, but that's their solo venture.
You'll be around. You'll come over and hang out.
But I will help out if needed and jump on a stream or gameplay focused series if needed. Maybe, actual game reviews in the future, but I do have a baby on the way come September, so we'll see how that pans out if Daddy Shibby can even play games anymore.
Yeah, you gotta get a real job.
I'll still be here with Machinima, helping in the gaming programming, game night events, streaming on Twitch, helping sales with RFPs for our network, stuff like that. Don't worry about me. The only giraffe in the room on its deathbed is poor old Jeffrey from Toys R Us. Rest in peace. Follow me on Twitter @Shane for the latest updates with me and keep supporting our content and streams from the studio. I know I appreciate it, so does Ian, etc. Of course, this ends with a 0 out of 10 loot boxes.
And that was the last we ever heard of him. Machinima fired him later that day. All right, thanks, Jibby. We'll miss you not only because this show is dead, but because you'll be a father soon, which means our friendship will indeed suffer and die as well.
It's me or the baby, Shibby. You choose.
Hopefully he chooses us. Fingers crossed. Before we go, here's one final Amazon review, and for this one, we consulted the greatest think tank we have access to, our Patreon supporters. We asked them to scour Amazon for a great 1-star review for a game that we hadn't already covered before. And a certain patron named the Ollie found this gem for us that sort of ties in with making us a little happy about ETC and this channel dying and, having us go and start something new. Here's the review that Ollie found. It's for a little game no one heard of called God of War 2018. And it's titled, God of War has been Rian Johnsoned.
Just like Star Wars and Battlefront 2, GOW has also received the Rian Johnson treatment. Those of you reading this who may not know what the Rian Johnson treatment is, let me enlighten you.
Oh, and it's a real thing.
This is where some putz with no understanding of the franchise he has been hired to work on decides to change said franchise into some insulting version he has envisioned that has no resemblance to that once great franchise. Star Wars cannot be saved unless Luke wakes up in the next one having dreamed all of Rian Johnson's crap. God of War? Yeah, it's ruined, despite the bandwagon groupthink going down on with it. Does it look great? Sure. Could it be a decent game if it wasn't under the God of War franchise? Sure, although I would still think it blows, personally. I have come to the conclusion that nerds should not be allowed near war or any kind of combat games, period. Take the first Black Ops, for example. Running and gunning with basically your rifle and grenades. Brilliant. You let the nerds in, and then you have magic gloves and stupid wall runs. Really?
I don't think it was nerds that did that.
This guy says he was. Really? God of War was one of those games that is pretty much perfect from day one. I actually purchased God of War on release day so many years ago, and it blew me away. Every God of War game after that was equally stunning to me. Just the grandness of the game alone was remarkable. It did not require changes of any kind, and especially not nerd changes like a ridiculous RPG menu system. Oh, we have outfits now? Awesome. Not. It absolutely did not need a total revamp of the fighting system into the stupid over-the-shoulder camera circular BS. Watch out for those red triangles, and let's talk about that irritating kid. Am I the only person that tried pushing him off every cliff I could find? Did you enjoy his any American neighborhood kick accent? Gone was the grandness, the epic adventure, and Kratos himself. Kratos was replaced with some unreal version of himself, much like Ryan's Luke Skywalker. Me, Kratos, me say, boy, that's it. How ridiculous of a storyline that the God of War had settled down and had an irritating kid. Not only that, but he was weak again with no god-like powers and weapons, or that the anti-hero Kratos-ness. You had to pick the right clothing ensemble to make a god strong again. What the fuck? Look, I could go on and on about all the things I hate about this once great combat and grand adventure game turned RPG nerd fest, but it's really simply nothing more than you destroyed a great epic game and franchise. All we fans needed was a new adventure with maybe the axe thrown in for a new weapon choice and some new enemies. Although I found the Thor motif uninspiring, I honestly can't believe that there is one God of War fan that would like this at all. It is truly baffling to me. I would give this no stars personally. Thankfully, I sold my copy 3 days after release and got my money back. Game at your own risk. 1 star.
Which also proves our point that people just want to play the same shit over and over and over
again. This wasn't the same as the originals. Boo. 1 star.
Boo, it's been Rian Johnson.
I created an entire version of this in my brain before I had the chance to experience it myself, and the real version did not line up with the arbitrary things that I had set up in my brain for how I expected this to be exactly like.
That review is a perfect encapsulation of what we've been talking about.
Nerd culture sucks.
Well, you agree with that kid then. But I think he's way off base with that.
But he's the nerd.
Yes, that's
Who's
true.
he calling a nerd here?
I don't know. It's like some kind of like weird mirror image. But listen, that's it for us. But gaming, guys, let's get real here. Gaming is fine.
Well, we did our jobs. The show
We
no
solved
longer
it.
needs to exist because we fixed
everything.
it.
We've never ever been in a better time for gaming. There are infinite options, a bunch of consoles, computers, phones, tablets, and so on. It is the best time in the world to be a gamer, so no one should complain. We only complained for so long because no one else on YouTube had the balls to do it. But really, we love gaming. Elliot just played fucking Witcher for 160 plus hours.
Yeah, Jesus. And we're just saying, don't expect too much out of the major players in the industry. Temper your expectations. De-hypify yourself. Calm the fuck down. Don't expect everything to be perfect. Never pre-order, and just chill the fuck out in general.
Yeah.
We'll make one exception though. You should get hyped about the new Cyberpunk game.
Yeah, I agree. CD Projekt Red. You know what? Go with track records from now on.
Yeah.
If someone's burned you, maybe don't pre-order their game next time.
Yeah, yeah. Regardless, everything's gonna be fine, guys. You're gonna be fine without us. Or
It's time to go off to video game college.
be the change you want to see in the world.
Yeah.
Just put on an outfit like this, go down to your local GameStop and yell at everyone.
annoy people.
Yeah, I mean, we're still gonna be talking about gaming over on our new channel, Internet Today.
Yeah, go
just-
sub to Internet
just
Today.
Less obnoxiously.
Yeah, but we'll still have problems with games. That's not going to change. We'll just do it without being as obnoxious, probably. Or maybe we will.
Yeah.
And you know what? Shibby, he's right down the street. Maybe we'll get him over to review something. I don't know. He's drunk all the time. He can't drive himself, but we'll call him a car. Now let's finally cancel this show once and for all. Elliot, say it with me, okay? Go sub to Internet Today because this show is fucking canceled.